This is MacBreak Weekly, episode 89 for May 15th, 2008. Shrimp Torrents. And now it's your turn, Mr. Andy Ihnatko. Your pick of the week, sir.
My pick of the week is actually it's kind of a callback to what we were talking about earlier about simplifying word processors so that they just address the features that you really, really want and stop overcomplicating things. I came across a really cool retro audio recording app called TapeDeck that now kids out there, those of you who are younger than 30 years old, you will not know what our dad's Radio Shack tape recorder looked like. It was a popular item in which you put a cassette in, and there was a bank of buttons, mechanical buttons, you would punch down to record something and play back and fast forward, rewind. And TapeDeck takes that exact same metaphor and just makes it into the simplest and most useful, one of the most useful audio recorders that I've ever seen. When you want to record something, you press the record button, and it starts recording. And how do you know that it's recording? As you're nervously conducting your interview or attending your seminar, and you don't know whether it's actually saving stuff or not. Well, because if you look at the little spindles on the cassette,
the cassettes are turning.
You see it's actually turning. Not only that, but because there's more tape on one spindle than the other, that means that they're actually spinning at different speeds.
Oh,
so
man.
That's a good touch.
Oh man!
You want to stop? You just press the stop button. Not only that, but when you stop, there is actually a tray filled with all the cassettes you have recorded, so to speak. So if you want to know, where's that meeting that I attended last week, push a button, shunk, this drawer slides out, and you can see the cassette from 4 days ago.
This is what Mac software should look like. This is great.
Yeah. It's simple, it's effective. When I'm recording, I'm using it now to record my podcast because I don't need to record it in GarageBand. GarageBand is way too complicated, way too much of a power hog. And I'm sick and tired of being like 23 minutes in and suddenly says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I already got a resource. I'm gonna have to do something really, really stupid to your voice in order to make it record some more." The only thing that I would like to see TapeDeck do for 2.0 or for 1.5 or for 1 for that matter is right now it looks like the shoebox size TapeDeck that, again, my dad used to have. What I would like it to do is now it's adorable. I love it. Good motif, but it takes up too much space to make it look like one of these old-fashioned machines. What I want it to do, if I'm not saying abandon the TapeDeck metaphor, what I'm saying is that Sony used to make a version of the Sony Walkman that could record. Okay, so it's about the size of a compact tape player. So make a version that looks like that, has the same sort of indicators, has the same sort of buttons, but takes up less real estate on my screen so that I can see if I'm trying to look something up behind it while I'm actually doing recording. I can actually tuck that someplace on the screen. Again, the best feature of this is simply the fact that I can nervously look at that screen and say, okay, the spindles are moving. That says to me that this thing is recording. I don't have to simply trust that this thing is saving correctly. But it's $25. You can try it for free. And if you do lots of recordings, whether it's meetings, whether it's podcasts, public speaking, whatever, it's a really, really good app to have.
Now, how would you compare this to something like Wiretap Studio?
It's less complicated than Wiretap Studio. It really does take me. It's not that Wiretap Studio is really difficult to do. Wiretap Studio is designed to record audio from any source that's happening anywhere inside your Mac. If you just want to record directly to disk, it's a little bit more complicated than simply pushing a button, because at least the last time I tried it, which was a few months ago, you had to basically tell it, oh, by the way, I don't want to record it from any specific source. I just want you to record it from the microphone and do that. It's also I also like, again, TapeDeck's feature. I don't have to go looking for where it recorded something. I can just simply touch a drawer, click on a certain a visual representation of a recording, and it simply pops out for me.
Okay.
I think it's very slick. I think apps, that's one of the things, when the Mac first came out that made it so cool, is that things would look like they were, and I think it's nice to see stuff still do that.
Yeah.
That's called TapeDeck. And
also,
it is from Tape. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember how much Wiretap Studio costs.
It's more than $25.
It's more than $25, I think.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of other features to it. And
exactly.
And it may be more, once again, it may be heavier. But when you put it in its basic little form, it's this super little recorder that's really nice. So, but it's when you were talking about this being taking up too much real estate is why I thought of it.
Oh, okay.
Because Wiretap Studio is just this wee little recorder that does have a lot of the stuff kind of set up for you.
It's like a little bit of a fob. The purchase price of Wiretap Studio is $69.
Right.
So that's, if you just need recording, then it's definitely a better TapeDeck is definitely a better solution. If it were the same price, I might say for the extra features, by all means, save yourself some money.
Right.
But And the other, and just to be fair, the other competitor to TapeDeck would be actually QuickTime Pro,
right?
Which gives you a simple little. It basically undims a lot of the basic features that you find in QuickTime Player, including create a new audio recording, create a new video recording, simple cut and paste editing. And QuickTime Pro costs $4 more, but it's not quite the same sort of experience.
Well, and the thing is that the other side of it, though, is that, I mean, almost anybody that has a Mac should own QuickTime Pro, as far as I'm concerned. So you're kind of getting it I mean, you should have QuickTime Pro because there's so many other things you can do with it. And this is probably just using core audio the same way the QuickTime Pro is, but it's giving you a really cool interface to do it.
I like the interface.
I like it. I like the interface a lot.
Yeah. That's
Again,
really cool.
if a big part of my work week was simply recording audio from a microphone or recording lectures, recording podcasts, I would prefer to use TapeDeck to QuickTime Pro. I do have both apps.
Right.
My MacBook, and I do prefer to use TapeDeck.
Oh, I don't like to use QuickTime Pro to record. I was just comparing it. I don't.
But your good recommendation on QuickTime Pro. I mean, it is one of those things that it kind of thinks that something that you think that Apple should give you for free is something you have to actually register for. But yeah, there's so many times when the solution is simply QuickTime Pro.
Now, sometimes it gives you a little too much power. One thing that we're trying to figure out is we have a movie that somebody hit cut in the beginning of the video. And then they saved, and now we're trying to figure out all the data is still there in the QuickTime.
It is.
It's all there.
The trim is not.
The trim until you do a save as, the trim is still there, but we can't figure out how to get the movie back. It's like it's all sitting there. There's some little hex code somewhere, and we were told to use this hex editor to try to find it.
You're kidding.
And there's some little knob somewhere that just says stop playing here. All the video is still there, but we can't actually get to it.
TapeDeckApp.com.
I like that.
I mean, yeah, .com, and it's free to try. $25 to buy.
Right.
Yeah. Very cool.